And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, we took a little time off, about a couple of weeks, and we're back at it again with another brand new show. Of course, it is April 2023, as we're presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out at bangtail.com, easyliquor.com, and also Total Wine and Specs in Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, our friends over at Honky Tonk, Texas, honkytonktexas.us for the upcoming concert series. And of course, our friends over at Gentle Ben Spirits. They love to drink bourbon, of course, gin and vodka out there. The name is pretty much right there in the name. It's gentleben.com. Of course, you can check out the tasting room in Alvin, Texas. And they got their new bar inside Minute Maid Park down there with the Houston Astros, the Gentle Ben Bar. Feel free to go by and tell Ricky Ford and the guys we said hello from here, us at the Backstage Pass. And I'll tell you what, it's good to be back in the saddle again. I went to Arizona, had a good time, and I was listening a lot of music and catching up on some things out there as I got to vacation. And I love this single by the Swon Brothers, who are our guests today, Colton and Zach. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
What's going on?
It was good to get sunshine, man. I went hiking and did a little fishing and played a little golf, and got to go to spring training down in Arizona. So it was a good little vacation to step away from it all.
Heck yeah, man. Spring for the Cardinals or what?
No, I went down there for the Rangers, and we got to see the Mariners, and we got to check out the Diamondbacks. So 3 different games I got to go to while I was down there. So it was
it's in spring ball now, huh?
Yeah, no, its season started last Thursday, so it's still young, 4 or 5 games into. Well, let's start right there since we're talking baseball, and I do a little mix of sports and music here on the show. As far as pro teams, college teams, from your guys, your background, your families, who did you kind of grow up rooting for, pro or college?
Oh, man, we bleed crimson, dude. And we're from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It took us a little bit. We were OU fans because we didn't really have a NFL team to root for, so it was just always the Sooners. But this guy named Barry Sanders played for OSU Cowboys, like the rival. And we could not help but root for him too. So he's our favorite player. And that led into being diehard Detroit Lions fans.
Well, I guess better days are ahead, they always say, because I like Dan Campbell. And look, Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl. He's taken a team there in the Rams a few years back. And I will say this, they're one of the more exciting teams to watch. And I think there's big things on the horizon coming up this season. How do y'all feel about that?
Well, it's the one thing I say about the Lions every year. They can't get any worse. So, but we're loyal through and through.
It's same way I am for my teams down there. Hey, let's talk some music. If whiskey could talk, and of course, being sponsored by a whiskey company and Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Gentle Ben Spirits. We love to drink here on the podcast here on the Backstage Pass. You guys co-wrote it with Michael Farron. I know you guys produced the track. Tell us all about the story behind the song. And I love it because what I get from it is this is one of those songs where there's a lot of whiskey country songs out there, but this is coming from the bottle's point of view, right?
It is. So we, a lot of things kind of led to this song, but one thing in particular, we did a tasting in Kentucky at Buffalo Trace. We got to go, the folks from the Opry took us and let us help pick out a barrel for their all of their venues. So like the Old Reds and of course the Grand Ole Opry and anything that the Ryman has to do with Ryman Hospitality. And it was a cool experience. And I think you can watch one documentary or go take that tour there at Buffalo Trace and know that a lot of history and family tradition and time and just years go into these fine bourbons and stuff. And
really any bourbon, like you realize the art of whiskey and bourbon and like just the beauty behind it. It's not just something you shoot, and it takes a lot of time.
We were what if we just felt like whiskey gets blamed for a lot of stuff that people do, and we just, it's a gentleman's drink, we're like, what if whiskey could write a song, and what would it and that's kind of where it is. And we've always heard, growing up, we kind of strayed away from drinking songs, especially when we weren't old enough to drink. And we always heard you need a good drinking song if you're going to sing country music. We're like, man, this is different. So we just, I love how it turned out, and it's just as country gets, man. It's
Yeah.
just, and that I grew up on 90s country and still. And so yeah, we love it.
It does have that feel to it, no doubt. And let's talk about growing up there, 90s country. I know being down here from Texas, this is kind of the Tracy Byrd, Mark Chestnut, Clay Walker, George Jones type of area. So getting my fix of that growing up with how big those artists were and, what they meant to the industry and paving the way for a lot of the younger artists today like yourselves. Was it some of those artists that inspired you? Were there others? Was it a little mix of everything?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody you just said. So our parents had this country kind of Branson style show that they did in Wagner, Oklahoma. And they had a theater in the summer. They were in there every weekend. And so they had a variety, everything from Elvis to George Jones, and a lot of the popular songs when they did this were all those 90s country songs. So they were in the show, and I was actually a drummer in the show. And my brother, was one of the kid performers like you would see in Branson or something. And well, he had some moves. I mean, he did Sinatra, Michael Jackson, Alan Jackson. I mean, it was crazy. But it really opened us up to a lot of different styles of music. But I think that's where we really honed in. I mean, I wish we could go do that again, honestly. Like, just go play a bunch of 90s country songs, and it's our bread and butter for sure.
It's always cool to step in there and get the writing style from somebody else's perspective. Did you guys know Michael when you stepped into co-write, and what was it like to work with Michael on this particular single?
Actually, man, we didn't. Our first write, this was our very first write with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy because it kind of takes you a little bit to kind of get in a groove with certain writers and get to know each other. And from the moment he walked in the door, he requested to write with us. Actually, he saw us on The Voice, and then he came out to where we're at now. We have a little studio here, and we came in. It was just like kindred spirits, man. And that was the first time we met him and first time we wrote, and this is the song that came out of it. And it's just crazy because you never think the power of a song is just, it really is cool to see what it can do to people. And you never think that you wrote, something worth anything as an artist. You're like, we're all critical on ourselves, very critical, but man, it's cool playing this one out live. We've played it live for about 1.5 years now. And just to see the reaction from folks that just really do want that country music, that 90s feel to come back. It means a lot to us because, it's really easy to put a loop and, make something a little more popular for most of the people listening today, but it's nice to see and refreshing to see people really responding to a song like this. So,
yeah. And I think we're more familiar with him than we knew. Growing up, we played in church almost every Sunday, and it turns, and I did not know this, but he comes in and we start talking, and a lot of the songs that I sang in church growing up, he wrote, which is crazy. Some of the biggest worship songs you ever heard. So it's just it's wild. It's a small world, man.
No doubt it is too, and I love it too because it came out there March 17th. I was coming back. I packed up all the gear, and we did a lot of shows at CRS. We were up there in Nashville, got to just have a great time and meet so many great people, interview a lot of great artists. That we had a great week, and I remember that song coming out. And I said, we got to lock that in for my first show back there. As I take a couple of weeks off and then get it right there here for the first week of April out there. Again, it's called "If Whiskey Could Talk." It's from that bottle's point of view. It is the Swon Brothers out there. Came out March 17th, so make sure you guys go check it out if you have not already and you love 90s country as much as I do. Speaking of that, too, I remember a line that he told me in one of the shows that we had did. One of my favorite 90s groups, McBride and the Ride, they came by the booth the other day. We were up there a couple weeks ago. Terry was saying, it's just amazing how many people are just clamoring for that particular sound to come back and that feel of those instruments you guys talked about. So this song really has a little bit of everything, and it really makes you think about those important days of 90s country. And I know that there's a great market out there for it, and country music fans, especially, always the good ones out there. A good country song when you hear it. And of course, I played it multiple times today on my playlist. I tell you what, let's have you guys perform it here on the show, and then we'll take a quick time out to get a word in for our sponsors here on the Backstage Pass. It's all yours. Take it away. If whiskey could talk.
All right, here we go. I was made for sipping, some old record spinning, laid back and listening to Haggard and Jones. I was made good friends, campfire reminiscing, that warm, easy feeling down deep in your soul. So why you out here trying to tarnish my name? Well, you go half crazy and I'll get the blame. And if you wake up hungover, it's your own damn fault. That's what I'd hear if my whiskey could talk. I know you got problems, but man, I can't solve them. 'Cause I'm just a bottle sitting here on the shelf. And I know what you're feeling. If you keep on reaching, you're gonna both end up empty with nothing else left. So why you out here trying to tarnish my name? You go half crazy and I'll get the blame. And if you wake up hungover, it's your own damn fault. That's what I'd hear if my whiskey could talk. Why you out here trying to tarnish my name? You do something stupid and I'll get the blame. And if you wake up hungover, it's your own damn fault. Yeah, that's what I'd hear if my whiskey could talk. That's what I'd hear if my whiskey could talk.
That's country music, if there ever was country music, right there from the Swon Brothers, no doubt about it. And take me back to all the great 90s songs I used to DJ back in my day there. If whiskey could talk, again, co-wrote that with Michael Farron, of course, and the brothers did produce the track there from the bottle's point of view. And if you don't like music, I guess, or country music, then I guess do what fits your bill. But I love that type of music, and that's what we do here on the Backstage Pass. We all do a lot of music out there, but you guys know me and know my favorite is always going to be the 90s country feel out there too. Time to take a quick time out here, pay some bills on the show. Our friends at Bangtail Whiskey, our friends at Gentle Ben Spirits, and of course our friends at Honky Tonk, Texas, that make this show possible. I want to thank them too and send out personal gratitude for all that they did to have us broadcast live and sponsor us there from Nashville, Tennessee. CRS 2023 was a huge success for us here at the Backstage Pass. Also want to throw props out there to Kirsty Krause and to CJ Garten for all their help out there too and all the great relationships that we made. Quick time out, more with the Swon Brothers. And of course, they just put the finishing touches on a new album called Covers Volume 1. Going to release later this year. More with the guys coming up here on the Backstage Pass. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. The process, the Percedo technology, and Gentle Ben has been doing it now for quite a while. Robert Ory, the former Houston Rocket, is an ambassador for Gentle Ben Spirits. They got a bar inside the Toyota Center at the Houston Rocket games. And of course, if you just like me, you love baseball, you're out at Minute Maid Park, you're checking out the Astros bar there. Check it out there. Again, Gentle Ben Bar at Minute Maid Park out there too. Tell them all Ricky Ford and the guys we said hello from the Backstage Pass. The vodka, the gin, the bourbon, fantastic. The smoothness, it is amazing. I've got it. I love it. And you guys know if I back any liquor here on the show, it's going to be damn good. And thanks to Bangtail Whiskey, our friends out there, and of course, Honky Tonk, Texas. Back here with the Swon Brothers, Zach and Colton on the show, just to release that new single we talked about there. If Whiskey Could Talk. Got to ask you about this. We mentioned this before the break there. You guys are putting the finishing touches on the new album called Covers Volume 1, which is going to be released later this year. Tell us all about that.
Well, I'll tell you, the finishing touches are done. We are completely done. I think all that's left to do is pick a release date, which we're working on, as we speak. But man, it's just a weird thing that happened, and we got presented with an opportunity to do this, and it's kind of twofold. I mean, my brother doesn't get to sing a lot on the records because, I mean, in all honesty, he sings a lot better harmony than I do, and he makes me sound better than I am. But we kind of split this record up, and we just picked some of our favorite songs, and I had to work on my harmony singing a little bit, but everything I always just wanted to do a take on to songs that maybe we've done covers of in our show over the years that fans wanted to hear. But it was nothing but fun. I mean, there was no rules. There was no pressure. We did everything from Def Leppard to David Allan Coe. And we got in the studio with some of the best musicians in Nashville, and it's 13 of our favorite songs. And
is it 13?
It's 13 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're so pumped. I mean, I can't describe it any other way than just absolute fun. There's no rhyme or reason. Like, if it gets on radio, great. If not, it's just something that we did for us. And it turned out really, really cool.
Now, the first single comes out, speaking of April, and this Friday, you guys have the version of the Urban Cowboy classic, Looking for Love, out there, too. You're talking about Colton kind of putting out lead vocals, too. That's going to be out there across all the digital platforms. So kind of fans get a little bit of a tease, Zach, on kind of what this thing is going to sound like with Colton's vocals. That Looking for Love comes out this Friday, correct?
Yeah. We, we didn't know which ones how we should release them. Like I said, there's right now, you're looking at just a couple of dummies from Oklahoma that are just releasing music. But yeah, man, we, and I've sang harmony to him so long that I don't even like singing lead anymore. But he's like, yeah, why don't you take you a few, which is weird because he's got lead singer syndrome. But so yeah, why don't you sing a few on this? I was like, all right. And so I picked that song because lo and behold, that was our parents' song. That was like their song.
We heard a lot about Urban Cowboy growing up. So
yeah, and I was like, man, this may be special to do it for them. And after we cut it and I showed them, they're like, I can't remember if that's our song or not. I was like, oh, what? But yeah, man, That comes out Friday. Yeah, Friday. This Friday. Man,
Yeah.
that's
It's
coming.
hard to believe. It's already April too. Hey, I love what you guys did with Nashlahoma, which was the last album. I loved a lot of things off of there with Good to You, Drink You Up, and of course Southern Draw, which featured Lee Bryce's brother on there. Talk about just another great collection of songs to put out to your fans. Great collection of music, 12 songs. If people haven't heard it out there, but just kind of some of the few that we kind of break down here, but had to be a great project to work on. Hit on some of the highlights of that record for me.
Oh man, everything about that was, it had been probably 6 or 7 years. Since we had put out a full record. We'd done a couple of EPs and some singles here and there, but just sometimes you get selfish as artists and you're like, I know we're living in a singles market right now, but sometimes you just want to do a record, and we thought it was time, and we had a lot of support and a lot of help from good people. One being Tyler Hubbard. We were in contact with him and Brian at the time, and they sent us songs that they had written or co-written with a lot of other great artists, and so the record National Home was about half and half of stuff that we wrote ourselves and songs that we just fell in love with that our buddies sent us. And
it's the first one that we produced too. Like, we finally took a chance on ourselves and decided, hey, we don't have to fist fight to get a record done. And like, I think so that's the first time that we just stuck our necks out and we're like, we're going to produce this ourselves. And man, it turned out great. I don't advise anyone to try to release music during a pandemic, but because there's a lot more important things going on. But we did it for us, and we had time to do it. It had been a long, long time since we had that much time, and I'm glad we did it. And a lot of people are just now discovering that record. And but we got some TikTokers out there and that use mamas. We wrote this song for our mom, and every Mother's Day since then is just like the gift that keeps on giving. People love that for Mother's Day, and they also love it for like their son and mom's dance at weddings and stuff. And we never knew it would take off like that, so that's pretty cool.
There's another song called Traveling On that we wrote literally in the back of a tour bus, and it's a song about being brothers on the road and that lifestyle. And it was really special because one of our heroes sang on there with us, Mr. Vince Gill. And, it took one phone call and he hadn't even heard the song yet. And he said, yeah, we're very him for doing that with it.
Love that. No, it's a terrific album. Nashlahoma, if you guys haven't checked it out there, go discover more great country music there from the Swon Brothers out there across all the digital platforms. Tell you what, setting you guys up for another one. Let's do another one here on the show. We'll come back, close it up with rapid fire, have a little fun with that, and talk about what's ahead too. What do you say?
Well, we've never done this. I'll do a little piece. I'll do a tease of what's coming Friday. We have not done this. We were kind of picking and grinning.
We've never played this live in our life. So
learn the words for just to record, but I do love here we go. Let's come out Friday.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3.
I spent a lifetime looking for you. Single bars and good time lovers were never true. Playing a fool's game, hoping to win. Telling those sweet lies, losing again. I was looking for love, all the wrong places. Looking for love, too many faces. Searching for eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Hoping to find a friend and a lover. I'll bless the day I discover another heart. Looking for love. Get that intro one time. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what, first time attempted, successful here on the Backstage Pass. Appreciate us being a guinea pig. I like that, though. Like I said, first time they've done that here on the Backstage Pass here. Hey, I also want to talk a little bit about you guys being co-writers on the Blake Shelton album called Body Language. And
Yep.
also, too, you guys are featured artists on the recording. Talk about just, again, working with another legend who's still doing his thing today after 20, 30 years in the business now and still making his own mark on country music. How exciting was that?
Man, I'll tell you, so we've known Blake for 10 years now, and he was our coach on The Voice, and he has been in our corner ever since. I mean, after the camera stopped rolling, he's been like a brother to us, and I hate saying very many good things about him because he is like a brother, and he'll give us crap about it. But man, he's just been cool. Like, he has taken us hunting and everything, and he's been pretty honest. And we kind of try to keep that relationship friendly. We don't want to just bombard him with songs, and so we actually sent this song Body Language to his producer Scott Hendricks. And we've known Scott longer than we've known Blake. And, Scott has been one of the most influential people since we were, 12 years old, mainly because he's been honest with us. I've sent him, I think we've sent him every song we've ever written since the first time we met him. We were 9 and 12 years old. And there's been times when he's like, hey, this is terrible. Don't show this to anyone, and so to get an attaboy from a guy is going to be honest, pretty cool. And even when we pitched him the song, he was like, I want to hold this for Blake and see what he thinks about it, but don't get your hopes up, And so Blake didn't even know that we wrote the song until well after he had decided to put it on the album. And the demo we sent was very poppy. It was just one of those days in the studio that we were just having fun, and we just thought what it needed. And I don't know, it just worked out, man. And we're so happy that he gave us an opportunity and made it the title track and let us sing on there with him. It was just, it's a pretty cool open door for us to explore the world of writing for other people, so very thankful.
Yeah, and it's some great music off of that one too. So people go check it out and really understand that the featured artists on the recording, and it's another great project. You guys got your hands on there too. And Blake's such a great guy. He gives back to so many younger artists. I had a chance to actually go to Old Red too when I was up there and just see some of the best younger artists who are just knocking on the door, kind of that next wave of talent play his venue there, and meet some great people. So a lot of great things. Props go out to Blake Shelton out there for all he does for country music too as well. I also want to ask you guys about this because I love artists that always give back to their community. Y'all had another successful, it was the 10th annual holiday concert to benefit the Salvation Army. I believe it took place in Muskogee, Oklahoma. You guys did more than $72,000 worth of money in need funding, and of course 3,000 pounds of non-perishable food. Talk about this, how important it is to give back, and I want to say congratulations on another great event.
Oh, thank you, man. Man, I don't want to sit here and act like we're doing a bunch, man. We show up and we play music, and we've done it since even before The Voice, we were doing this show and trying to raise money for the Salvation Army. And if you look around there, around our town anyway, how necessary it is and how much people need it. But man, we continue to, chip away at it and just try to help your community out. But I will not sit here like the Salvation Army, the city itself, the people of Muskogee, they're the ones that are like raising the money, giving and donating. And sure, we show up and put on, the best show that we possibly can, and people buy tickets. And but this year was a little bit different. We raised over $70,000, and the show was free because a lot of people can't even afford to go to the show. That's what we found out a lot of these years. They just can't buy tickets. So this past year we did, for the 10th year, we made it free, and it was the biggest year yet. It was really cool. And that doesn't, man, we've been so blessed. It always comes back in some shape or form. And so, that's the least we could do for our town. And there's other things that artists do, and that I'm proud of country music in general, just because this genre it's a pretty family oriented, and it cares, you know.
No doubt. And congratulations on 10 years of great success, and this one being the most successful of all out there for you guys. Great cause, and they're a great organization to work with and collaborate with in the Salvation Army. We'll take another quick timeout, the final one here on the show. We'll come back with a rapid fire with the guys, talk a little more personal things, and kind of get to know them more on that personal basis as we do here on the Backstage Pass, presented by Bangtail Whiskey, our friends at Honky, Tonk, Texas, and Gentle Ben Spirits out there here on the show. Quick timeout, more with the Swon Brothers. Stay tuned. The Backstage Pass coming right back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again presented by Gentle Ben Spirits, our friends over at Honky Tonk, Texas, and Bangtail Whiskey. Again, thanks for sponsoring us and being the lead sponsors there for CRS 2023. If you missed any of those shows, they're out there for your listening pleasure right now. Go check them out. We did 52 interviews in 3 days at CRS 2023. A lot of cool stuff out there. Thanks to everybody who took part in it. Kirsty Krause, CJ Garton, and, of course, all the great artists we got to hang out with. My favorite one is still Tracy Lawrence. Tracy stopped by the booth, and we got to talk to a legend in country music. So if you missed that one, go check it out there on the Backstage Pass Facebook socials out there in social media. Back here with the Swon Brothers, the current single, If Whiskey Could Talk. It's across all the digital platforms. All right, I'd like to have a little fun here, Colton, and have a little fun with this, Zach, and enjoy just rapid fire. So whatever comes to mind first, just throw it out there. We love playing America's fastest growing game show here on the Backstage Pass. People love this. All right, last show for each of you to binge watch. What did you get into? I have a little technical difficulty there with the guys. Hopefully get them back here in just a second. Here again, the Swon Brothers here on the Backstage Pass. And again, Whiskey Could Talk is the current single. We'll try to get them back here on the show here on the Backstage Pass. See if they can log back in. We'll try to finish a little rapid fire with them here. Don't forget tomorrow, some cool things happening here on the show. A couple of shows we're going to talk about. State Line Band is going to join us, and also a legend in his own right, Rick Trevino is going to be here on the Backstage Pass. Hopefully we'll get the brothers back. And, of course, next week, some great shows. We're hoping to have Megan Patrick here in a couple of weeks and a whole lot more here on the show, too, as well here. Again, if you ever missed any shows, the SportsGuysPodcast.com is a great place to check them out there. They're all archived. And, of course, if you missed any of those great CRS interviews out there, they are also out there across all the socials of the SportsGuysPodcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, and the whole 9 yards, too, as well. So looks like we lost connection with the boys. Of course, a great interview today. Hopefully we can reconnect with them at some point. I want to get into the last shows they binge watch. And, of course, we already talked a little bit about their favorite sports teams out there. But if you want to give them a follow, SwanBrothers.com. And, of course, give them a like on all the different social media out there. We'll try to reconnect with them, too, as well here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And speaking of the boys, they are right there with us again. A little technical difficulty, but They're back with us here, and I guess sometimes technology just does things like that. That's why they call it live podcasting and radio here. So I was getting it rapid fire here, and the first question I wanted to ask you guys each: what was the last show that you got to binge watch? What was your favorite?
Oh man. What did I last show I binge watched?
Binge watching.
I'll tell you, I'm probably behind, but I've been stuck on, and please don't spoil it if you've seen the end because I'm right at the end. But I've been stuck on Show Your Honor.
Yes, that's one of the ones I've been into, and I haven't. I'm stuck on probably 5 episodes before you are because I've not had the time to. I've been vacationing. I haven't had the time to go back and watch it. But I'll tell you one I did finish, which was season 1 of it, The Last of Us, that HBO series.
Yeah. We, my wife and I have been watching that, and man, I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I'm gonna get this off my chest. I have been binge watching reruns of WCW Monday Night Nitro. Dude, it just makes me feel like a kid again. Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger, like all the wrestlers I grew up watching, and so it's Peacock. You can stream it on Peacock now, and I've been watching it. I can't help it. My wife hates it.
We almost missed a flight one time because we wanted to meet Hulk Hogan. We literally chased him down in the airport, which I would not ever do this for very many celebrities, but he's like, the king of wrestling. And I remember we wanted a picture so bad, and he was very nice, but he was trying to get to a flight too. So we literally left our luggage near ran him. We're like, hey man, can we get a picture? And he was like, well, you can, brother, but I'm gonna have to keep on walking. So if you can do it while we're walking. I was like, so we have that picture, and it's one of the best moments ever.
I love that because I got to see WrestleMania this past weekend, which was WrestleMania 39, which was on the Peacock there. Did you get to see any of the latest WrestleMania?
Yeah. Actually, I'm streaming that right now. My wife now, she's doing some music stuff as well. So I have had wrestling on a bunch, and I don't even know why I'm getting back into it. So, but yeah, WrestleMania, it's so much bigger than I remember it. Like, I mean, that place is SoFi Stadiums or yeah. Gosh, like I can't believe. I hope I'm in the match where Logan Paul is fighting Seth Rollins.
Yep.
That's where I'm at on that, and I saw the end of the end of the second night. There was some pretty cage matches, like pretty intense.
I love it too. It makes you feel like you're a kid again. And I watched it with a buddy of mine this past Sunday. I caught several of the matches on Saturday. I thought the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn tag team match was actually really cool. That they fought the Usos, and I've been a fan of it since I was a kid. And I'll probably put my daughter's already liking it too. She's only 3 years old, but she's daddy, and she's like saying their names and all that kind of stuff too. So it's a cool thing. And I think it's like, okay, ladies love their soap operas. It's a guy's soap opera. There you go. It's just what it's all about.
Yeah. If I have to watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette with my wife, she can watch a little wrestling with me. Okay.
Okay. Don't let him fool you. He loves The Bachelor.
Dude, no.
He loves it.
Oh man.
Exposed
here on the show.
I never watched an episode, and I never plan on it.
You also ain't married.
No, that's right.
That's why.
Right. Well, I'm with right there. I plan on watching her. She's not into the reality stuff. My wife's got her own shows that she likes too. But I try to she tolerates my stuff, so I watch her stuff too. But yeah, when you get married, he's right. There's give and take, right? Comes down to it. All right. When you guys are on the road, what's a go-to fast food place? What do you like to eat?
Man, I'm a filet fan. Chick-fil-A. I mean,
okay.
That's God's chicken, dude. Like if it's open, a lot of times we're traveling back home on a Sunday. So if it's not open, I mean, your standards that are always going to be there for you, McDonald's, Taco Bell. I mean, it's nothing. Like
well, most of the time, by the time we get to eat, we're pulling into a truck stop. So it's usually Wendy's or McDonald's or Subway that's connected, to a truck stop. I actually really love Subway. I eat it almost every day, to be honest. So
sometimes I'll just do a cup of ramen, man, and some potato chips.
Classic way to go and save money and enjoy a good little quick meal at the same time too. Well, I'll tell you what, I love the single "If Whiskey Could Talk." It's from the Swon Brothers out there across all the digital platforms. And check out SwanBrothers.com. Colton, Zach, great to connect for the first time here on the show. Best of luck going forward with all the projects. You guys have a lot of cool things out that people need to check out, including the release of the first single off the album coming up this Friday, Looking for Love, and a whole lot more with the Covers Volume 1 album coming up later this year. Again, great to meet. More success coming your way. And guys, let's do this again going forward, no doubt.
Absolutely,
Amen, man. Let's do it. Thanks for having us.
You got it. The Swon Brothers here on the Backstage Pass tomorrow. Our good friend Rick Trevino drops by here on the show. Might remember him, Blast from the Past. We'll talk to him about a great concert and live show he's got coming up with one of our partners, Full Circle Moments, LLC.com. And also the State Line Band will be here. And, of course, next couple of weeks, Megan Patrick here on the Backstage Pass here. We'll connect with her the week of April 17th. Talk to you guys tomorrow about 4 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. See you guys soon. Until then, God bless. Have a great night.